Okay, we're going to put these shafts into these heads. Stay tuned and let's tell you how that's going to work out. Welcome back to McGolf. Jim McCleary, most awarded certified club maker, club fitter, where we talk about club repairs, club fittings, club reviews. So if you would, like and subscribe, swing and hit that bell, and that way you get more videos as they drop. Well, now we are going to the West Coast, and we are going to, let's see what we got. We are going to work on some MAcGregors. MAcGregor VIPs, some good MAcGregor VIPs, the V-foils. These guys are some really nice clubs. And we're going to take the steel shaft, they look to be rifle flighted for MAcGregor. Rifle flighted, so we can talk about rifle flighted. And what are we going to put in? Find out. In some KBS TGI 90s. KBS TGI 90s. Their idea of a tour graphite. So a nice black shaft, nice red label, nice black ending. So we're going to put those together. So what's this episode going to be about? We're going to take apart the clubs, then we're going to reassemble them together. So we're going to talk about rifle flighted. We're going to talk about installation again, because this looks to be fairly unique in its installation process. And then selecting ferrules, and then we'll talk about the grip that this gentleman wants to put on here. Let's get to work. Welcome back to Boxes to Build Volume 2, where this build is going to California. So this way for me. I showed you that we're going to take some KBS TGI 90s, the new graphite shaft from KBS. This guy. And like the black paint job, red label that KBS is known for. We're going to put them in a very cool set of MAcGregor VIP tourneys. VIP tourneys. Now the cool part about this is that it's what I like to call a combo set. And a combo set is player's cavity at the top end, 3, 4, 5, sometimes down into the 7, mostly into the 7. Sometimes in 8, depending on the person, right? But that's the idea of a combo set. Where it is you split that set between that, right? And that's a very cool, it's a cavity back with a muscle in it, or that, a true to life muscle back. And then the bottom part is the blade or the muscle back. And the idea is, forgiveness and height at the top end, at the bottom end, precision and control. And that's the idea of the combo set. Do you do anything different between the cavity back and the blade? The answer is no, right? As long as that you get the lofts and the lies to marry up, then it's frequencies, weights, the whole 9 yards, you marry them all up to the same. That way they play the same except for the design of the head, right? And then that way you have your consistency. Now, I typically don't invoke the combo rule until somebody's about into the mid-80s, all right? Mid-80s and going down, not mid-80s and going up. And about the mid-80s, because that's, that type of golfer is typically, committed to playing golf, wants to get better. You get a little bit better striking clubs, although it's not required, but you could. And then you use these clubs. So you get the maximum forgiveness at the clubs that are traditionally harder to hit, including for that guy that's 85, and then you get the bladed ones, which the guy that is shooting 85 can handle because the club is shorter. Hence the combo set. These are taper tips, and they're taper tips with a shoulder. I don't know if you can get in there. I'll let it set for a second. Anyway, there's a shoulder in there. There's a shoulder in both. So we need to have a particular ferrule like we've always done in the past. You see it's a ferrule with a little bit of a shoulder. Goes right in there, and it actually looks pretty good. Now the ferrules that were in there before were much more decorative and very much more cool, but they just don't do that anymore. So we're back into these guys. Now against the black shafts, that'll look pretty cool, and then we've gone with the Pro Model Pure Grip. Pro Model Pure Grip, okay, 100% rubber, made right here. There you go. 100% rubber made right here in the titanium color, a titanium. Had to get this directly from Pure Grip because my supplier did not carry it. Thank you, Alvin at Pure Grip. And there you go. Now, one more message on these guys is that right here where it says Pure, if you're somebody who likes a little bit of personalization, you can get a logo, a statement, something along that lines in that particular area. They help you set it up, and then they can put it in. It can go in a different color, just depending on what it is you want. Now, you can't get massively detailed because it's just a teeny weeny spot on the grip, right? But I've done a few for me in the McGolf, and they put my little swoosh logo on there, and it's turned out pretty good. So if that's what you're looking for, do that. It's a slightly extra cost. So what's the unique part of this particular build? Because Jim, you say, yo, hey, you got taper tip shafts, taper tip hosels, you slam them together, life is good, it's all done, right? Well, if you recall, we did this once before, and just turns out for this guy, the big box store you got fit from suggested a really kind of a high swing weight. For reasons unknown, it's pretty high, which would require either massive weighting in the head, and a lot of it, because these were very, very light, or there'd be some sort of really adjustment, and all you're doing is making the club funky. So we talked, and he is okay with going a little lighter, not super light, but lighter. Well, in measuring these are all running just a little bit light, so I'm going to have to put a tip weight in them. The tip weight looks like that. Now, it's a smaller one, it's not really all that big, but what I'm going to have to do is cone it, take the sides off just a little bit and taper it so that it will fit in the taper tip part, right? Because the taper tip is actually a few 1/100ths of an inch smaller, so that'll fit in there. But then what happens is that taper tip part of the shaft is now not mating into the bottom, so it's not a real select fit. So now what do you got to do? Well, you got to go get an adapter piece, or a shim, so to speak. I go to GolfWorks and I get the shims. Now, they all have different codes on the bottom, and that's the ones you got to watch, which we just had to. And each one of these shim codes has something different. And you go, well, geez, I'm not remembering all those shim codes. You would be right. I'm not remembering any shim codes. So once they come in and I know what they are, I write on the bottom what they adapt from too. And that's what we're going to put on these. So they're little shorter shims to take up that space that's not being mated up in the hosel. And adding all that little bit of weight also adds to the swing weight. So we're getting everywhere we want, and it's going to give the clubs just a teeny weeny bit of a kick. So you're still going to be able to get the ball in the air, even though these are players' clubs. You'll still get that boring trajectory, but it'll feel a little bit nicer, and then we're going to get into that. So in this particular instance, instead of like on the last one was more about final assembly, this is going to be the pre-assembly part of it. Let's get started. Here, I'm going to show you just on this one club, instead of having a fast video that just keeps going through it, so it's at a normal speed. So as you can tell, I've already prepped the tip, and we did the flowing, and that's what that is. And that's from a silver metallic Sharpie marker, so that's always something useful to happen. Along with the black Sharpies, the silver metallic for the darker color, so you can see what's going on. Then we have our ferrule, which we want to put on here. Again, as always, we put the glue on there. It does two things. It acts like a lubricant to get it slid on here, and then it also allows for the glue to get on there, and then it will help it stick so you don't get too much ferrule creep. Alrighty, set that down. Then again, we have the tip weight, and as you can tell, I've already did the chamfering on it, so it will fit in there. And now, in that secret that I've shown you in other videos, we're going to make it so that this won't break off in there. And by a simple piece of masking tape, there we go. Give it a few rolls around. Do a test fit. There we go. So we know that it fits in there nice and tight. Get a little glue in there so that it'll go on the inside and hold it down and hold it in. Now we got that. And then what we want to do is get the inside of the hosel filled with glue, and I like using the shaft because then that will guarantee that both sides are getting it. And you're going, I know, you're missing something, and you'd be correct. Hold on. All this was to get some glue in there. There we go. Let me check the fit. That's pretty tight. All right. So now we have to put that shim on there. So we got plenty of glue on the shaft. And then we get some glue on the outside. This is where it gets messy, because you want to get a bunch of glue on there. And then you tamp it down. I have a bunch of excess glue that we want to get rid of already. There we go. Just like anything else, if you get any on you, you got to get it off quickly. And I'm going to try and tamp it down a little bit more. Alrighty, we got it in there. Now what I did, go back and I checked some others for fit, and some others will not require the use of that shim because the fit is very tight. And that's what you're going to find differences between manufacturers. Some are very loose, some are very tight. In this case, it was very tight. So we got it in there. We got the ferrule up there nice and tight, and to prevent any creep while we're there, and then off that goes onto the rack. So the next time that we talk, we'll be talking about after they've been all assembled, and we'll talk about more of the process. Again, if you have any questions, put them down in the show notes, and I'll be happy to address them. So let's get the rest of these done, and then we'll be talking tomorrow. Welcome back to day 2, Boxes to Build Volume 2, and this is a set that's going to California. And as you can see behind us, it actually did a little bit of winterization last night on us. The forecast was for 3 to 5 inches, and I'm thinking this is basically a perfect day to go inside and finish clubs going to California. So let's go back inside and enjoy some extra weather. All right, we're back inside and we're letting all the gear warm up. And the reason why I did all that testing was because I got a new camera for Christmas. I also got a new Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. The other one was the basic model, and it did a good job, but this one is supposed to be much, much better, and we're going to see just exactly how it works. There are settings on this thing that I have never had before, so we're going to be testing it throughout a lot of these videos that I'm doing. To kind of show you, I also got something new here. For those that are of the younger ilk, you'll notice that I've got a moment lens on a moment case, and that's what you see right there. You get to see the new FZ2500. I am not going to be a guy that changes the lenses because I'm busy making clubs, although I do like the photography aspect of it. But this is just, to me, is very simplistic, but everybody was talking about how that was very cinema-like, and that's the part that I liked. So there we go. So if it looks a little different, that's the reason why. I'm still getting used to the camera. So let's go make some golf clubs. Okay, day 2 yet again, and just like every other time when you get ready to do your work on day 2, you want to make sure your glue was nice and hard, right? Nice and hard. And it did that, and that happens to be that was the shim that I didn't need to use on it. Turns out that I used 2-gram weights, which couldn't have been that tall, so it didn't impact the fit too much, particularly when I was using some of the grit that I put in my glue. And so everything fit kind of tight. I was really well happy with that. Now, we are going to finish the ferrules, cut them to length, and put the grips on. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to finish the ferrules because, yet again, I've done something with ferrules over here. I will do it again so it's a little cleaner, a little bit better picture this year. We're going to also show you the grips that we put on, and we already did that on the last boxes to builds. So this is about getting to the idea of a customer went to a big box place because they're in California, not here, and got their details, did some testing, and likes the clubs that they have. Now you saw that they were the MAcGregor VIPs, and it's an extraordinarily good set. We just are updating it with the new shafts and some new grips to make it a little more playable. And we're all said and done yet again, I will go and check it for loft and lies and bring those into the right realm of whatever they need to be, and then we're going to take it off. So I'm going to complete this stuff, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. The end, and like in most of the boxes to builds, I like to tell you how it went and what we really did, and lay down a few more tips for you. What would we do? Well, we had the VIP, right? And I just told the wax off of these. These are such classic looking blades, it's not even funny. And the fact that our friend from California basically had a combo set. You know, it was the player's cavity back from the 3 through the 6, and then 7 down is this guy. Good choice, right? Especially if you're somebody that's mid-80s or below, this is a really good choice. Now, what we did is we ended up modernizing the VIP with the KBS, give you a good one here, the KBS TGI 90 graphite tour graphite shaft. That's what it is. That gave it a little lightweight, so you could swing this guy around and maybe control a little bit better. And then we put in the titanium pure grip. It's not made out of titanium, that's the color. There are a couple of things I need to tell you about when you're going to make new or old new. Okay, first things first. When you don't want to go too old, because if you go super duper 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 super old, the hosels will be the wrong kind. Now you got to go back into probably pre-70s to make that happen, but just in case you're one of those people that happens to have maybe a set of Burks laying around or some really old Dynapowers, yeah, you don't want to go there with that. But you know, something into the 70s, we'll take this. When you get something older and you think, well, geez, I'm going to put these graphite shafts in, I'm going to hit them really, really far. Well, you know, no. All right, you're going to control them better, probably feel better, but they're not going to go a lot further. Loft is your friend when it comes to distance, right? We've always been talking about how the lofts have gotten stronger in irons, and that's a lot of the reason why people are hitting them further, okay? Just so happens these are a little more modern versions, and the lofts weren't too far off. So you know, he asked me to make them like Rogues. No, I'm not going to make them like Rogues, because if I was to do that, let me show you here in a second. If I was to do that, lie angle and loft and bounce. So if I was to make this really, really strong, this leading edge would come way up like this, and this club would earn its name as a shovel. Because even this one has, I don't know if you can see it or not, you should be able to. Let me do it like that. The leading edge over here is what we call killed. It's very rounded and it's got a nice high radius on it, what helps that for sure. but if you make it really strong and you go to take even the littlest bit of divot, it's gonna want to take more, right? And right now in California, they really can't afford to lose too much property because of all the fire. We split the difference. I gave him his lie angle because lie angle has to do with the accuracy of the club. That wasn't too bad. And just so that you know, yes, they were all over the place, and I put them in so that they match your fitting parameters with your length. So that is very, very cool. And as far as hitting the loft marks, I think what we would do is split the difference. I believe I'm really only about 1 degree to 1.5 degrees off the mark. As your clubs get shorter, you'll probably find that they hit pretty good. Now, from a spec point of view, did we do very good? The answer would be, yeah, we did pretty good. Now, were the swing weights exactly all the same? No. But I was within my one either direction. I was really happy about that. The lightest one was the 3-iron, and the rest of them were within one of each. There was D0s or D1s. Not too bad, right? We did pretty good with those adding of the weights. So we like that. And we put the Pure Grips on. The Pure Grips are very sticky. They have that last 12 months kind of thing, which, you know, and they do feel pretty good, I have to admit, because I did the one on the testing, or I did one. So, and the Tour Graphite looks to be it's going to be a proven shaft this year. It looks like it's catching on very, very well, and we think we have a pretty good set. So as we start talking, I'm going to fan over and we're going to take a little bit of pictures so you can see what we're doing. Again, if you like these, leave some comments, or you got any questions, leave comments in the show notes and we'll definitely answer them. Don't forget that we'll be going to the PGA show in a week, so if you have a vendor that you would like for us to see, please put that down in the show notes, or you can send me an email at clubmaker@mcgolf.net. Certainly do a drive-by and check them out. I've got a bunch of interesting videos that are coming up for that. Hopefully you stay tuned, and for our live stream at the end of the days. As always, let's see your scores go low.